Hey there, my name is Jonathan. I lead developer relations here at Matillion. I'm going to talk to you today about how to trigger data productivity cloud pipelines via AWS SQS. So first things first, you have already read the blog, or at least seen it, right? It will give you all of the data that you need to know. So what have we done so far? Well, we've set up our AWS SQS queue and AWS Lambda function as per the blog. So this is everything from setting up the queues, setting up the Lambda function, setting up the permissions, and getting ready to start. We've also created two pipelines within the Matillion Data Productivity Cloud. They are one, trigger SQS, so this causes a message to be placed onto the SQS queue, and then two, do some work. And this is the pipeline that is triggered by our Lambda function. It's important to note that you must make sure you have published your pipelines in order for them to be executed by the API. So let's take a look at it in action. Let's jump into the designer. Now that we're in the designer, we can see both pipelines. One, trigger SQS, and two, do work. Trigger SQS simply uses the SQS message component to put a message onto our SQS message queue. In our case, it's putting it onto the DPC pipeline's FIFO queue in the particular message format that we've already discussed in the blog. It includes the project name, the environment name, the pipeline name, and the scalar variable that we want to pass to the pipeline. We can then see in pipeline 2, very simply, we're just printing out that scalar variable. In this case, it's the variable name. If we take a look now at the pipeline execution history in Manage, we can see that I've executed this before, but let's do a little bit less time so we can see just what we want to see. Cool. So if I go back to the Designer tab and I go back to Trigger SQS, if I run this pipeline, what will happen is a message will be placed onto our queue. So, as you can see, it's executing now. And the message is now on the queue. Perfect. So, if we go back to observability, we can refresh and see not just the fact that we've placed a message on the queue, as you can see, this was executed by me, Jonathan Law, but also executed to do work by the API user. And if we look at to do work, we can see that it has printed the name Jonathan. If we have executed this pipeline manually, which I'll do now just to show you, if we execute manually, we'll get a different value. In our case, when I execute this, we'll just get the default because I've not passed in the scalar variable. So if I look at the run that I've just done, name will be no name. So this is how you can easily set up the ability to trigger pipelines via SQS. Take a look at the blog, get back to us if there's anything else that there was missing, and remember, start your free trial today at matillion.com.